Today's a heavy topic. We're going to be talking about PT school loans. Every time I think about the amount of loans that I'm currently in, it is really disheartening, especially when you're, a student in the field and you know that getting out of the field or getting out there and working in the field is not going to, bring the money in. Knowing that going away from school and becoming a full-time practitioner still means that it's going to take years to pay off this amount. It's not a good feeling. So here are some things to consider so that you can hopefully get into PT school and get out of PT school with low amounts of loans rather than a lot of them, which are only going to make it more difficult to pay off. First thing that you want to consider is you want to just look at the overall cost of your program. As I've mentioned in a previous video, really think about how much your program costs. If your program is going to cost you upwards of $150,000, maybe do some more research into other programs who can get you the same exact degree, possibly in a nicer location that can, cost anywhere from, $70,000 to $80,000, which is a lot less than paying anywhere from $100,000 to $150,000 for any program for PT school. Again, keeping in mind that when you pull out your loans, they will approve you for really any amount that you want to pull out. It's not going to be something where they're going to say, hold on, your tuition's only this much, don't pull out any more. They don't tell you that. And also, you have to pull out more than what your tuition is worth because you have to think about other expenses. If you have a car payment, then you have to figure out how you're going to pay that. If you are, a human being and you need to eat, there are going to be loans that you're going to need to pull out for your food. You drive your car, there are gas expenses. You are going to live in a place that is near the school, you're going to need to figure out a way to pay rent. So all of those things really factor into that loan amount that you're going to be withdrawing. What does that do? Well, your tuition, semester tuition can be, $40,000 per semester, let's say. And now it's not just the $40,000 you're pulling out. You're pulling out, another $10,000 on top of that because, your monthly rent itself is like $1,000 a month, So you're going to be pulling out a lot more than what you would expect to pull out when the program tells you, oh, this is our tuition for, per semesterly or per the 3 years, this is how much it really costs. Always think about the other things that you're going to need to spend that money on. And that really always just means additional withdrawals on top of the tuition. And so if your tuition already, adds up to like $120,000, there's a lot more money that you're going to have to withdraw to not only cover the tuition, but also your basic needs. The reason that this is such a problem, or this is something that you should really think about, is because PTs do not make six-figure incomes. The average income is anywhere from $60,000 to $80,000, and when you're going to a program that just in tuition is going to cost you $120,000, is it very sensible to go into the PT profession, go into a program that costs so much money, but then you're going to have to spend years paying back the loans that you initially took out? Now, there are different settings that pay a variety of different amounts within the realm of physical therapy. So if you're working in an outpatient physical therapy setting, that usually will be the area where you're making the 5-figure income. So, again, anywhere starting from $60,000 to $80,000. And then, of course, the more years you work there, you're probably going to, get a bonus. Maybe they keep, there's a retention bonus, which is like the more number of years you work with the particular facility, they'll give you like 5,000 more every year or something. So that sort of exists, but outpatient physical therapy still being on the lower end of it versus working in a hospital setting, then you could potentially see up to $100,000. But again, if your loans are, $120,000, and then, let's say you don't want to work in the hospital setting. Now you're not looking at $100,000 income. You're only looking at, let's go on the high end of it. Like you're looking at a $80,000 or $90,000 income. It's still going to be difficult for you to pay off your loans while trying to live your own life. And, where does that really leave you? Where does that leave you in terms of buying a house? Where does that leave you in terms of buying a new car? Where does that leave you in terms of, just living in a place that you want to be able to afford in a nicer area than otherwise where you would be living prior to? So it's a really important thing to think about. Do you really want to be in a program that is going to cost you six figures of, tuition money only to go to, and then you're ending up with a job that only pays you 5-figure salary? So what are some ways that we can navigate this, circumstance, this problem that we have, I guess? And so a way that we can try to navigate this is that you can apply for jobs on campus. For example, you can apply for a tutoring job on campus that will allow you to tutor other students who are in the same exact program. A lot of the people in my program and, other students that are a year above me, they all work as tutors. So how does that work? Pretty much, you would be a tutor for your PT program. And let's say there were classes that you did excellent in it. You got an A in a specific course. Well, now you can apply to be a tutor for that particular course. And let's say that, either other fellow students, now there's like a second part to the course or something. So you've already become a tutor for this class. There are students within your same class who need help in this particular course. Well, since you already are an approved tutor for this course, you can help them. Or also, you can continue to be a tutor, and let's say that now you're a second year, the incoming class of freshmen are coming in, now you can also tutor them. So it's a great way of being able to make some money, and this is the money that can, depending on how much you tutor, how much time you have to tutor, you can pay for gas, or you can pay for, just some of the living expenses that you might have through this tutoring money. And again, the way that the tutor gets paid is simply the school provides that payment method for the student, versus the student who is being tutored is going to be able to then also, get that knowledge in exchange for their time. So everyone sort of wins, and that's a good way of just possibly paying into your loans, or just having to take out less loans because you have a job already. Apply for scholarships and grants. Personally, I haven't found that to be quite as useful as I was hoping. It's really, really difficult to find the resources for graduate school, and there's less out there, it seems, for graduate students. And there's, anytime that you're going to be applying for the scholarships or grants, there's a significant amount of time that is spent writing essays on essays for $1,000, when you probably need that time to study and get a better score in a class, rather than write an essay that is going to give you $1,000. But then when you think about it, you also have that, $100,000 in debt. And so there's, that's just a cost and benefits ratio that you're going to have to figure out, is it worth it or is it not worth it? But where you might find luck is actually asking the program that you actually go in. So you can ask the program financial aid office, and you can ask them, "Hi, my name is so-and-so, I'm an incoming student, and I was wondering if there is a scholarship application that you can point me towards, or is there anything else that, you can tell me about which will allow me to take out less loans by getting some scholarship money or some grant money." So that's a really good way of just approaching the school financial aid office and finding out if they have any resources available to incoming students, or if you're a current student already, you can also ask them the same exact thing. So on the same topic, you want to think about being able to pay into your loans. So you can try to make monthly payments while you're still in school, and that's again where tutoring could come in. And let's say you make $100, and you want to pay towards your loans with that amount of money, and that can help because every single day there's interest that accumulates on your loans. And so if you're paying $100, and let's say that the interest is like, I don't know, $3 per day, you've sort of are then canceling out that interest because you've already paid that $100 towards for that month, right? To not be able to compound because you're paying off that interest by the monthly payments that you're putting in. Another really great strategy is to just take out the least amount of loans that you possibly can. If there are family and friends who are willing to pay for, gas money or just for your food, that would be a really, really good thing, because then you don't have to take out as much money. And if you're not taking out as much money in terms of loans, then the less interest that you're going to have over time and the less you have to pay back. And something that that didn't really cross my mind when I was pulling out loans is really clinical experiences are built into your PT program. And what that means is a clinical experience can happen in the same location where your PT program is located. And that could be very much likely. However, for example, for my program, because of COVID, what it did was a lot of the placements nearby were, a little bit wary of allowing more people to come into their facilities. Potential, the more number of people you have, the more risk you have of COVID. So what it meant for my class was a lot of us were, we went away for clinicals. We didn't stay within the area. And now what that meant is that, depending on where you ended up, rent could have been cheaper there, or it could have been more expensive. So that's something to consider is when you're thinking about taking out your loans is, where do you plan on doing your clinical placement? And even then, it's not a guarantee. So if that happens, of course you can ask your school like, hi, can I get some money to help me with this? And they might say no, or they might help you out. It's just something to keep in the back of your mind and really think about, how are my clinicals going to affect my loans? Do I need to pull out more loans, or am I going to be okay? So I know this was a little bit of a heavier topic today, but I hope that this made some sort of sense, and you're able to look at loans through a new lens and what they really mean as a student and what they really mean as a PT practitioner. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, just thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and bye.